Guys, welcome back to Zachary Reality. This is your host, Zachary Reality. And we got the introduction flat, baby. So I just had my interview with Lauren Ashley Beck from Survivor season 39, which was a couple years ago. She got fourth place on the show, and we are going to talk all about her season of Survivor and Survivor in general. And a lot of you probably know her from Survivor TikTok. She is the queen. She started Queen of Survivor TikTok. She started this series called Survivor Secrets, where she has her followers ask her questions about Survivor, and she literally answers them. And it's that simple. And she has built a huge following, almost 300,000 followers on TikTok just by doing that. And she has such an amazing, bubbly, outgoing personality. She also works in entertainment as a host. And we are going to get into it. I know a lot of people have probably been really anticipating me talking with Lauren because we all love her on TikTok. I mean, she's so amazing. And I love Survivor so much. So having Lauren on here is such a treat. It's such a treat. This is going to be a Survivor themed episode. Now, I mentioned to you guys that this is a reality TV podcast. You know, we are talking all reality shows, Bachelor, Housewives, Survivor, literally every reality show, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. And today's episode is going to be Survivor focused. So if you like Survivor, this is definitely the episode for you. We really spill some tea. We really talk about the show, where it's going, about the twists and the turns. What I really love about Lauren so much is how fast she talks, just like me. We were able to whip through this interview, get all the questions I needed answered, get all the points, get all our opinions. Guys, Lauren even cried during this interview. She even teared up. It got so emotional. We were able to feel all the feels in just like a 30-minute interview. It was actually amazing. So I'm so excited for you guys to listen to this. So let me play the interview with Lauren, and then we are going to chat a little bit after. We are here with Survivor Castaway and the queen of Survivor Secrets on TikTok, the one and only, my girl, Lauren Beck. Oh my God, I messed that up. That's so embarrassing.
You said it right. Lauren Ashley Beck. Ashley Lauren, it all works.
Lauren Ashley Beck. That is so embarrassing.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Listen, people will come up to me, Zach, and they'll be like, Ashley. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Okay, but you did that to yourself because you have 3 names in all of your bios.
It's very true. It's very true.
But I am on your TikTok live all the time. So I feel like I'm constantly having a conversation with you. So having you here, I'm just excited for you to hear me.
Ooh, I love that. I'm excited to hear you as well. Yes, I follow you on TikTok as well. I am also a fan. I love listening to you. So I'm excited to talk.
Yes. Oh my God. So you went on Survivor season 39, which how long ago was that filmed? 2 years ago?
So it was about 2 years ago now, which feels so crazy to think about that it has been that long. Time truly does fly.
Oh, yeah. So were you always planning on going on Survivor? Because I was watching and you were saying that you were such a big fan. I am also a fan since childhood. So was this a lifelong dream for you?
So it's definitely something that I always said that I wanted to do. Now, in talking about lifelong dreams, I feel like when you have a dream, it's something that you actually think you're going to do or you're going to take steps to get there. Whereas for me, I was afraid that no one would see my tape because I was like, millions of people apply to Survivor a year.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was a far-fetched dream. It was something that I always would have loved to have done, but I never imagined myself actually doing. But I've been watching, like you said, since childhood, since I was 10 years old. So I've always loved the show.
What season did you start watching?
Oh my God. I want to say I started season 2, and that's one of my favorites. Yeah. Australian Outback.
Wow. Yeah. I'm like so excited because I've been watching since I was 6.
Yes.
My grandma got me into the show, like such a family show. Like my family's going to freak out that we're even talking right now. So this is amazing. I started season 7. Sandra Pearl Islands was my first season.
That's a good season to start.
Great season to start. And I was 6 years old.
That's crazy. It's so wild how different, and I hope Survivor does get back to that, but it's crazy how different it used to be. Such a family show because I used to watch with my dad. Like that was our thing. So yeah, I hope they can get back to that family sort of aspect of what it was for us.
Well, I think the show has changed so much, but I talk about like reality TV changing so much in general. And Survivor is one of those things. Where the show is so different because they want to keep us stimulated the entire time. They want to keep us stimulated because we have our phones. We have these short content streaming platforms. So now they've put in all these challenges and all these twists and all these fire making challenges. I mean, if there was no fire making challenge, do you think you would have got sent home at the final four? They would have all voted you out?
No, I don't think that they would have voted. I don't know though, because, you know, I think for me, it was always difficult for me to say, okay, I'm a threat. And you never want to be that person that's like, yeah, I'm a threat and I got this game on lock. But I think that if given the opportunity, those three, maybe they would have voted me out. I didn't realize how scared they were to sit next to me. That never dawned on me, because I thought that they were all confident in their own games, which is where I was at. I was confident that I could win against any of them that were there. So I don't know. I feel like, you know, there shouldn't be all these twists. This Final Four fire making is absolutely ridiculous. No woman has ever won it. There's a flaw in the system. Why not have people win their way into the finale? That's how I feel. I don't think anybody should have anyone else's fate in their hands. I don't think the person that wins the final immunity should be able to decide who gets to, it's not smart. And I also think they should only have a final two, because when they have a final three, there's one person that usually gets no votes at all. I definitely think Survivor needs to shake up what they've been doing.
I would love to see them go back to the basics in some type of aspect, but you know, I actually like the final three. Something that I don't like, that I want to get your take on, is I don't like these open jury discussions. Okay. How many iconic jury speeches have we seen over the years? I
agree with you. I agree. I love the OG jury format because it does give people the freedom to come out and say exactly what they need to say and what's on their mind. I have to tell you, the new modern day tribal format drives me insane. I was so annoyed with even my own cast. Like, can you guys stop like fulfilling these outwit, outplay, like it was like a report card. It's too much. And I don't like the new format.
So what would you have said if you went up there? This is your moment. You walk up there like the bad bee that you are. What are you saying to Tommy, Nora, and Dean?
You know, to be honest with you, I would say, job well done to Tommy. I would say, you know, you did what the other two couldn't. You had influence and a pulse on the game the entire time. And this is no shade or no tea to Nora or Dean, but Dean multiple times had very like space cadet moments where he would walk up to people and say, I would ask Dean, what did you do to get to this place? That's what I would say, because he was a GOAT, and Nora was so chaotic that people knew that no one would vote for her in the end. So I couldn't blame Nora for that, for being brought to the end. But with Dean, it's just like, dude, what did you do? And his whole speech was, and this is, I love Dean and I love the final three, but his whole speech was, make history with me. How can I make history with you if you didn't make history in Survivor? Like, I can't in good conscience.
I love that line.
Like, how can I in good conscience make history with you if you didn't make history and do anything in the game?
I mean, he did get a lot of advantages. That counts for something.
He did, but he didn't use them. Yeah. So, and that was the thing for me. It's like, and when you use an advantage, you stick your neck out in Survivor. You know what I mean?
You put yourself out there on a limb.
It's a risk that you take, and you have to bounce back from that risk. And it would have been awesome to see Dean use these different advantages and bounce back from that. But he didn't do that because he didn't have a game. Now, I will tell you this. At the final tribal, Kelly asked him, was it your game to be the GOAT? If he had said that, Zach, if he had said yes, automatic respect. We would have been like, oh, okay. But he didn't say that. He said that was not his game.
But would you have voted for him?
Absolutely not. Still,
you were voting for Tommy regardless.
Absolutely. I was voting. Listen, I'm loyal to the end, and I was the best campaign manager at Ponderosa for him. Everybody wanted me to talk so much shit about him and say so many bad things. He was my brother in the game. And if anybody deserved to win, truly, Zach, it was me and him. That was the truth. And so I wasn't going to go. And Nora too, they wanted me to talk so badly about all three of them. You know, I guess because when you get voted out, it's like another piece of the puzzle is added and people have different stories that they tell. But I was so still like mind warped from being voted out of the game that I couldn't even do that. So I gave props where props needed to be given. And I didn't say much at the final tribal because I was honestly confused.
So who did you plan on voting out though? Who did you want to take out at 4?
I wanted to take out Dean at 4.
Okay. And you did you think you would have beat Tommy?
Absolutely. I do.
Really?
Because Tommy, this is the thing that a lot of people didn't see. And this is, again, no shade, no tea on Tommy, because I love him and I'm so proud of him that he won. He did what I could not do. That being said, and Elaine will tell you this all day. If I tell Tommy to run, Tommy is running. He's saying how fast. If I tell him to jump, he's saying how high. That was just our relationship. You know, I'd be like, Tommy, he'd be right there. So I think that it would have been difficult for Tommy to separate our moves. Now, somebody could say the same thing about me. However, I had more ties with the OG Lyro girls, and some like Tommy's ties were very surface level, where I felt like mine were more deep and like real life friendships. And I think that they all recognize that within me and how close I was to everybody, that if I truly did sit there, I had 10 friends on the jury that I loved to death, you know? So yeah, I think that I would have beat Tommy. Absolutely. I think that I could have spoken to my game. I think my game would have been respected. I think as a Black woman, what Survivor is, I think that people just truly wanted that. They wanted to see that. And I think also they wanted to see Nora win too as a woman, but.
So why didn't you do something about it that we didn't really get to see it on the show? Why didn't you go up to Nora, throw Tommy under the bus, make yourself more of a case? Or did you?
I did. I went to Nora, and of course this isn't shown. And she even said to me, I can always change my mind. I don't have to take Tommy.
Such a wild card.
Well, I wish she had done that, because not only would that have given her props to say, listen, I told the boys that I was going to send Lauren to fire, and I did this. But I think for me, Zach, at that point, I had fought for 38 days, and I was like, I am not about to beg this woman to take me. Nora and I are good friends. And if the shoe was on the other foot, I just feel like
you get it.
Right. And I just think that Nora in that, and I know she regrets her decision of taking Tommy, but also I have to tell you, Tommy made Nora swear on her sister's life.
Oh, I hate when they swear on the family's life in the game.
So then we're, and this is, again, not to talk badly about any of them, but then it goes in line with your moral code. I'm not going to have somebody swearing on their child or their family member that they're, and that's how he got her. He said, you swore on your sister that she brought out to loved ones. And so then it's like, and Nora is very much that person. Like, I'm going to stick to my word of what I said. And I should have pushed harder. I should have groveled. I should have gone on my knees. I should have said, please take me. But you know, I don't know, maybe I just had too much pride, and that pride came and shot me in the foot at the end because I was sent to fire and lost.
Well, I think that you really have to do whatever it takes to win, and you got to just, and you have to, you should have put your pride away. Because I feel like
I should have put my pride away, that, and I should have stopped being so emotional and allowed myself to understand, Lauren, you have fought for 38 days to get here.
It's just one more day.
One more day. And don't have so much, I had too much faith in Tommy and my alliance. And, you know, this is actually something within our friendship where, you know, it was always this thing of, if you won, would you have taken Lauren to the end? And he would always tell me yes. And everybody on our cast always says no. And that has been like a constant theme of our friendship. And it's hard, you know, to hear people say that I would have won, or like it should have been me. But I mean,
everything happens for a reason, but I think that Tommy, he had such a close bond with you, but he chose to throw you under the bus so that he can win the $1 million. And I feel like maybe you let your heart get in the way, because you have such a big heart and you created these really close friendships, and it clearly showed on the show, after the show. You were definitely very much in Survivor Nation. I love it. And I think that might be more powerful than the $1 million.
I appreciate you saying that, Zach. And it does make me emotional to hear you say that. And it's one of those things where it's like, you're right. I needed that $1 million. I did. Lord knows I did. I don't come from money. I struggle. But, and you know, as like being in the industry that we're trying to be in, but to know that I was able to walk away with respect and,
friendship,
just knowing that I did walk away with lifelong friends, Tommy included. And here I am crying. And this is why, like, for me, you know, they're saying like 16-year-old people are going to be playing Survivor. And it's like, no, it's not a good idea, because the mental toll that it takes on you is very, very difficult. But you're right. I'm grateful for the experience that I walked away with. And I don't know, like, if I had won the $1 million, would I be pushing so hard for my career as an entertainment journalist? Would I have settled and just been fine? Probably. So I am a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And it's given me a platform to talk about Survivor and to hopefully go back, you know, or maybe play other games or whatever the case may be.
For sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, what were you doing before Survivor? Were you working in entertainment? Were you living in LA, or when did you move to LA?
So I've been living in LA since 2007. I literally graduated high school and was like, I am out of Michigan. I don't want nothing to do with y'all.
Okay.
So I was actively trying to become a television host before the show, but that was something that they told me to pull back on because they don't want it to seem like you're just going on the show for an opportunity, which Survivor isn't the show that is going to get you that anyway.
That's what I'm saying. You go on The Bachelor for that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. The Bachelor, that's going to get you that social media fame, but Survivor is not. And I am a true Survivor nerd. So they told me, like, specifically my casting person was like, just pull back. Like, you know, Lauren, I know in 5 years you want to be on red carpets doing A, B, and C, and you will. He's like, but just really hone in on what you're doing right now. And what I was doing was nannying, and I was in school for broadcast journalism.
Okay.
So that's really what I talked about. Yeah. And that's when I had worked at AfterBuzz and all that stuff and was just kind of getting my feet wet. And then right before, like literally the week after I found out I was going to be on the show, I started getting like crazy cool red carpets, like with Variety and NBC and like all this stuff. And I actually had to call my casting people and be like, I just interviewed Tiffany Haddish and John Stamos. And my casting person was like, I'm so happy for you. Like, that's great, whatever. He's like, that doesn't matter. You're already on the show, whatever.
Well, I feel like going on a reality show, and I personally would love to go on a reality show too, just as much as I want to host red carpets. It only really helps us gain more exposure to do what we're doing on social media. But what I love about you and what I love about me is that we actually love the game just as much.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like both. You get both things out of it.
You get the best of both. And that's sort of the thing too. And that's the thing, like, even though I didn't win $1 million, like the things that I want a community where I can talk about a show that I love in a way that puts me in a professional space as well.
Exactly.
Where I get to live out my dream and talk about a show that I actually
So let's talk about Survivor Secrets.
Yes.
This is where we became friends. And this is exactly what I do with my TikTok. I love talking about reality TV. And it also, helps my hosting career because now I've been able to gain a following as well. So you did the same thing. You did it first. I want to say that because now I see, you know, some people popping up on my FYP. I'm like, who's this? Who's this? There is only one queen of Survivor Secrets. Where did you get the idea to start Survivor Secrets? Because let me tell you this before you answer. I found you when you had less than 1,000 followers on my FYP.
You really?
Yes, I did. And I was like, she is genius. Why has no one ever done this before?
I love it. Okay, so the tea is,
the tea.
I have a friend who was on American Idol. Her name is Margie Mays. And she was doing American Idol secrets. And her and I were talking. And she was like, yeah, like we were talking about doing a little show together. And she was like, yeah, I do this American Idol thing. And I was like, maybe I should do that for Survivor. And she's like, yeah, why not? So I literally just went on one day and I was like, I can't even hit 1,000 followers. Like you said.
Remember,
like,
you were begging for 1,000 followers. You're like, somebody follow me so I can go live.
I could go live to talk about the show.
Yes.
And then you blew up. Literally woke up and it was just like, everyone had questions. And it made me so excited, Zach, because a lot of people don't even know Survivor is still on. So it's like, and it allowed me again to nerd out about something that I love. You know, we love to talk. And so I'm getting to do two things that I love to do, talk and talk about Survivor. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And now you are like TikTok famous.
I wouldn't say that.
You are.
Well, I want to get, we all want to get.
We all want to grow.
Yes, we want to grow. But it's so funny because Sandra, the queen of Survivor, is on TikTok and somebody commented, oh, the queen is coming for your Survivor Secrets or something. And the queen corrected her and was like, Lauren is the one and only Survivor TikTok queen. And
100%. Like, you did it first. Exactly. You did it first. That. And I love that. You are the queen of Survivor Secrets.
That means a lot to me, Zach, because you do see there are a lot of people out there doing it, and no shade, no tea.
No shade, no shade.
Anybody can talk about whatever they want to talk about. But I do want this to be my baby. And this is something that I'm genuinely passionate about. And I want people to fall in love with the show. Like I love it. So yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. I recently found Ozzy on Survivor TikTok, and a little tea. My cousin found him on OnlyFans last night. So I'm kind of wondering, since you've been watching forever, who was your Survivor crush? Because I used to fan out when I was younger at Ozzy and a few others. So who did you like?
Ozzy and Ethan were like my go-to. Ethan, which makes sense that I married a Jewish man. Like, Ethan, like it just all ties together. Ozzy, Ethan. I mean, when you're talking about later seasons, we got Michael Yerger.
Well, he became famous after the show.
He did. Like a whole
influencer.
And rightfully so. He's absolutely gorgeous.
So gorgeous.
But yeah, I would say Ozzy, and young Boston Rob was
young Boston Rob. Boston Rob now a little bit of a dad bod.
He's definitely dad.
But he is such an icon. I watched him when I All Stars, like maybe 7-8 years old. Like I was in love with him and Amber, obsessed.
Yes,
like,
yes. Well,
obsessed.
they were like the like original Survivor love story.
And I missed that about Survivor. There used to be so much love and there used to be so much drama, like real drama.
Well,
and I missed that.
But I think it's just the way that like even if you look at people like Elizabeth Hasselbeck or Andrea Belke, who were able to sort of have these careers and use Survivor to propel them.
Yeah.
You can't really do that as much anymore.
Well, you're doing it the Gen Z way, getting on TikTok and getting to the younger audience. So you are a smart girl doing this in 2021.
Thank you, Zach. And you are a smart man.
Yes, I am. So what reality show are you casting me on?
All of them.
All of them.
You honestly, if I could put you on a show, I would say Big Brother or The Challenge. You would be amazing. Yeah.
I just don't think I would, and I want to talk to you about the elements because I want to go on Survivor. I love it more than any other show. It was my first reality show love, but I do not think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Were you hungry?
I think that's a big misconception. You're so stressed out and have so much anxiety all the time, which isn't a good thing to feel for 39 days, but you don't have time to be focused on being hungry. Like sometimes it sucks, but it's not one of those things where I would say more so the elements, the weather, the not being able to escape the rain and like hide or a towel when you get out of the ocean.
How tight is your shelter?
It's horribly tight, horribly smelly. There's flies everywhere. There's mud everywhere. There's leaky spots. The bamboo is like all off kilter. You're trying to find a comfortable space and squeeze in between. If you get up and go to the bathroom, somebody's going to steal your spot. It's horrible. And that can get you voted out too.
Yeah, for sure. I watched the first episode last night of your season.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Well, I needed to do my research. It's been a couple years.
Yes.
And whoever left, he was so stupid for leaving
Jason.
camp. Do not leave camp the first like few hours, right?
And I tell him this all the time. And to this day, he will not admit that he was looking for an idol. And we call him Squirrel.
Oh, was he?
He was.
Yeah, it showed that he was.
You don't disappear for an hour's time. And we just got there. And what actually ended up happening was, what happened is he went to find tree mail. And on tree mail, there were these beads. And he kept the beads. They didn't show this whole scene. He kept the beads to make a fake idol. Yeah. So Nora and they didn't show this, went through his jacket and found the beads. So right off the bat, Zach, I don't trust you. Like I was like, I do not trust this guy.
But you know what? I don't trust you. You shouldn't be going through his jacket.
Well, and that's the thing. And then Nora went and told him that I looked through his jacket. See, but that's the thing. Me and me alone is what she said. And I that's the thing about Nora and her chaotic game. And I think that there can be some points taken from that. If you create enough chaos, you will take the spotlight off of you.
Oh yeah. And I think you have to be close with the people who are so chaotic, especially if you are smart enough to be able to handle them and feed their ego constantly. That is why Boston Rob took Philip Shepard to the end. We've seen it so many times in the past.
Well, and that's what Tommy would do. Tommy would gas her up. Tommy would be like, so Nora, tell us a story. And it'd be like this 3-hour story. We'd be so annoyed. And he would just laugh in the background, knowing what he was doing, building her up, making her feel better. Her story's so important. She's the star. And then she takes him to the end.
How much time on the show are you manipulating and how much time are you forming genuine relationships and being honest?
I would say it's, I played it 70-30.
And probably deeper in the game, it's a lot more amplified.
It's a lot more amplified. Yeah, I would say you shouldn't play it as this is going to sound so shitty. You shouldn't play it as genuinely as I did. I played with the game too close to my heart. Okay. I should have played with it further away from my chest and been more manipulative and more. But see, this is the thing. You can be manipulative, and this is how I was manipulative, in a way where you're making people thinking that they're coming up with the ideas when really you swayed them and led them to that decision. Yeah. So yeah, that was more my game.
Would you play again?
Absolutely.
In a heartbeat. Well, you have to see like where your life is at.
Again, my body, I don't know. Like I'm getting older. I don't know if I could take it. My body was a mess when I got home. Like I was an absolute mess.
What were some of the effects? Like you couldn't eat, you couldn't walk.
You can't eat. You're literally they thought Janet for my season had a tapeworm. You have consistent diarrhea. Like you can't stop going to the bathroom once you eat. Like it's horrible. It's horrible. But yeah, if the call comes down, Yeah, I'd go back.
Can't say no, but
I can't say no.
So somebody sent me the other day. There was like a little challenge tea. You were supposed to go on the challenge and they ghosted you. Can you kind of clear this up?
Yeah. So it's so funny. I keep getting questions about this. So yeah, for season 36, I don't know if a bunch of people dropped out or what happened, but they actually reached out to a bunch of survivors. They reached out to myself, Missy. They reached out to a couple people, and some of those people may be on the season that's coming up. I can't give too much tea, but you will see some survivors on the new season.
Love that.
But for me, they had me send in a tape. I did a couple interviews with them, and then I never heard anything again.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they just assumed, okay, this Barbie girl is gonna die out here. She can't survive.
I didn't realize that you were such a Barbie girl.
Oh my God, I'm such a I am not athletic at all.
No, but you don't even come off like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But out there in Survivor, I was always picked last. During challenges, my heart was going like a million miles a minute. I'm not athletic. Like, that's just not my thing.
So how do you think you did in the challenges overall?
Being in the challenges is horrible. It's hard. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it at all. Like, it's something to do, but it's nerve-wracking because it's like the whole time you're watching the other tribe and it's like, am I going to lose? Who's going to win? What's happening? And if I lose, am I going home? It's the adrenaline is enough to kill you alone.
Wow. Well, maybe you will go back if they ask you. I mean, how long do you think Survivor is going to go on? And let's kind of talk a little bit about season 41 since the Jeff Probst announced it last week.
I don't believe that Survivor, if they don't really focus on the younger generation and Gen Z, I don't believe Survivor will last past season 50.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any, and they may do something like they did with American Idol where they take it off the air and then they bring it back on another network. But I just feel like, especially in light of the political storms that have been on Survivor, I think if they don't get back to traditional Survivor, that it could be over before they know it.
But like in the next couple of years, even?
In the next couple of years, yeah. And I hope that's not the case, but again, people don't even know the show is still on. So it's like,
yeah, well, it also still has a lot of an older audience.
And that's the problem, because I think that it's good to have your true OG Survivor fans, but now how do they need to be able to change with the times, you know? And
they're trying,
you look at their social media and it's horrible.
They're trying to, their social media is bad. You need to be running the account. You need to be having an after show. Remember when Parvati used to have an after show?
Yeah, listen, and this is something that we should talk about. Like, I want to pitch to them me having a Survivor Secrets after show because
100%. Can I work on it with you?
Yes, why not? Like, they should have true Survivor fans that already have a hand in the Gen Z, you know, like, why not do that?
Yeah.
So if they don't do that, Survivor's going to be done.
I 100% agree. They need, and I think that they're trying to adapt with all these new challenges, and I mean, not all these challenges, with all these idols and nullifiers. It's too much for me.
It's so much noise. It's like, let's have one or two idols in play, maybe one or two advantages, and get back to why people love the show. They didn't introduce idols until like season 13, 14, maybe even season 20. I don't know.
The first idol was on season 11 in Guatemala.
Okay, season 11. So there you go. So for 11 seasons, we were fine without all that. And now I feel like idols aren't even as cool because it's like, oh, that person's going home. They're going to find an idol.
Then you can get nullified. And I hate the nullification. I hate the nullifier. I don't like the legacy advantage.
Me neither.
And one thing also I really don't like is that I used to love how they would do it in a different country every year. And it would be such an experience watching Survivor China, Survivor Guatemala, Survivor whatever. And now all of a sudden they just found Fiji and they're just going to do it.
So here's the tea on that, because I've been doing research for my TikToks about that. Apparently it is just really, at first I thought it was because it brings revenue to the Fijian economy, which it does. However, it's really cheap for them to shoot there.
Yeah.
Like, so cheap for them to shoot there. And I guess Jeff has a house there. And of course he does. And they've been able to have like really good accommodations for the camera guys and all that. So they don't have to stay in tents anymore.
They got settled and it makes sense for them. They got,
and now they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think it'll stay there. I saw an interview with Jeff where he was like, I'd be happy if we end our show here. And that was in 2017. So I was like, is he trying to
So everyone's asking me what you think of Jeff's new hair.
I hate it. It's horrible.
He definitely looks like he aged a little bit, but I also think it's because Survivor was gone for a couple years.
Yeah, you know, I think it's definitely a quarantine cut. I think people are gassing this man up. It does not look good. They need to cut it, do something. Jeff is a very attractive man. No one can ever take that away from him, but that hair has got to go. Before he says, come on in, guys, They need to
come on in, guys. I mean, how surreal is it as a Survivor fan to even see him though?
Even hearing it now, it makes me nervous. But yeah, it's unreal. And these challenges, when you walk in, and he would always say that, he'd be like, Lauren, your face when you see these challenges. Because I was always like, it's
how close do you guys get with Jeff?
We get fairly close now in newer seasons because he's completely involved in the casting process through and through. So he gets to know you on like a real personal level. And we don't get to talk to him as much as we would like because we're only really talking to him at challenges and tribal. But yeah, he's great. And he knows all of us really well. He knows everything about us.
I have this question that I've been dying to ask, and I've noticed it for years. Do you think that's the winner knows that they're going to win? Because based on the reactions, it just looks like everyone knows what's going to happen at the final. So
yeah, generally at Ponderosa that night, we all tell one another who we vote
really for. Why? It doesn't it ruin the surprise and the suspense?
Well, yes and no, but I feel like in some seasons, especially mine, I feel like it's kind of obvious who won, which like, you know, like I think Tommy knew. Some people want to hold their votes close to their chest and not say who won.
I wouldn't want to know.
So, right.
I would want to wait.
That was the thing. We didn't know for sure, but like we would try to count votes and say, okay, well, there's 7 here and 2 here. But yeah, generally people do know at the finale that they won.
It just looks
so. You have to remember, it's been like 7-8 months at this point. So
yeah, I mean, that's so long. Are you just when that airtime was like down, were you just like, when's the show coming on? Were you like so excited? Did you have a watch party? Did you throw something?
Oh yeah, I had a watch party at the Parlor off Melrose. It was so much fun.
Oh my god.
And we all summer we would talk. The anticipation was killing us. We weren't supposed to talk, but of course we do. We spent a lot of time. We visited Elaine in Kentucky. We went to Rhode Island. But yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And now Survivor is finally filming again. I don't know when it will air, maybe in the fall.
I'm hoping in the fall. I was hoping that they might get bold and do it in the summer, but I don't think they will because of Big Brother. But yeah, they're shooting back-to-back 41 and 42. Okay. And I think we'll have a season by fall of 21.
Me too. Because I'm surprised that they didn't film because it seems like the easiest show to quarantine, but I guess they really couldn't fly too many people out.
And that was the thing. Yeah. Fiji said no. They were like, no Americans right now. So I think they were just waiting for the go ahead from Fiji because they had actually had a false start a couple of months ago. They went out and were supposed to film. They flew out all the producers and because I'm friendly with some of them and then they had to come right back and fly right back home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh my God. This has been so much fun. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what you're doing now? And what you're working on, what your goals are. You're living in LA.
So living in LA, generally, my goal is to be a television host. Right now, my North Star is aligning with being a kids game show host. Okay. That's what I really want to do. I've been auditioning a lot for things like that. So hopefully something rolls down. As you know, Zach, the freelance life is not for the faint of heart. So I do a lot of different things. I am a lifestyle influencer, not the basic bitch kind. I actually do try to influence for things, or I do influence for things that I genuinely like, and try to put forth products that I like. I'm also a host for this game that you can get in the App Store called Live Play Bingo. I do that every morning.
Let them know.
And yeah, it's cool. It's a cool little check, and it's with a Sony affiliate. I work with some people that used to be on Jeopardy, so it's a good place to be. Okay. And then yeah, hopefully the world starts opening back up so I can do some red carpets. I used to work for this company where I would do red carpets for The Voice and America's Got Talent and all that good stuff. So hopefully as the world heals, I'll be back out doing that stuff.
100% you will. And girl, I will see you there.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. This has been so fun living my Survivor dreams. Tell everyone where they could follow you. If you are not following Lauren on TikTok, you have a problem and I don't know you. But tell everyone where they can follow you. What are you up to?
You guys can follow me on all platforms. I'm very on brand at Lauren Ashley Beck.
Lauren Ashley Beck, not Ashley Lauren. Ashley Beck. Get it right.
Yes, Lauren Ashley Beck.
Okay, guys, that was my chat with the queen of Survivor TikTok, Lauren Ashley Beck. And yes, she is the queen. Sandra Diaz-Twine, the actual queen of Survivor, even declared Lauren the queen of Survivor TikTok. Oh my God, that was so much fun. I love Lauren. It's so nice and refreshing to have just like a fun chat with someone you have a lot in common with, that you really enjoy talking to, someone who has that banter and gets that humor, and someone who just like matches your energy. And I just feel like Lauren is such an amazing person, which means that I'm an amazing person as well. LOL. So I mean, that was just such a fun chat, guys. I want to just tell you guys, I truly have been watching Survivor since I was 6 years old. As I mentioned, I started at Pearl Island season 7. Because that's like old enough to watch Survivor. You can't really watch when you're younger than that, right? Are people watching at 3-4 years old? I have no idea. But I went back and watched seasons 1 through 6 many, many years ago. As I mentioned, Survivor was my first love in the reality TV world. So this was such a treat having Lauren on. And I really have truly watched Survivor ever since. Now I have kind of fell off a little bit of Survivor in the 30s, because me and Lauren just kind of mentioned that it changed a lot. It's not as good as it used to be, but I'm still so invested. I've always been in the know. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Survivor 41. We're definitely going to have more Survivor guests on this podcast in the future, especially when the show comes back to air. Lauren said she's hoping by the fall, because we do know that Big Brother is airing in the summer. So yeah, it'll be super exciting when Survivor comes back. So thank you all so much for listening to this episode. This was such a long awaited interview. I'm so glad I got to talk to Lauren. Make sure you guys, like us, subscribe to the podcast, give us 5 stars, comments, whatever you can do to support the podcast. Check out my website for new merch. And as always, thank you guys for listening, and I will see you guys on TikTok. Have a great weekend, guys.